Hola familia, soy Carlos Vides con Mentes Innovadoras aquí por Televida. Yo espero que estén pasando un feliz día, disfrutando la primavera y preparándonos para las buenas fechas de fiesta, de asadito de carne y muy buenas familias en sus casas. Esos son los tiempos que nos vienen. Espero que todos estemos listos para eso y para las vacaciones a lo mejor también. Este día les traigo un invitado, como siempre. Les voy y les busco invitados, personas que le van a traer información a usted en la comunidad, información que le puede servir más que todo para ustedes, los dueños de negocio. Les traigo un invitado muy especial y quiero que ustedes tomen muy buenas notas porque él nos va a dar información. Va a ser en inglés, pero quiero que se tome información cómo poder utilizar los servicios que él tiene por ofrecer a ustedes. Son servicios públicos para los dueños de negocio más que todos, o los que quieren emprender un negocio. Póngale ojo a la información que nos va a dar, porque el invitado que traigo ahora es el señor Michael Barrera y es una persona que es oficialmente, él es un abogado, pero ahora él está trabajando con el SBA. SBA es el grupo, la agencia del gobierno que le ayuda a los comerciantes o a cualquier persona que quiere emprender un negocio para conseguir dinero, para que abra sus negocios o para crecer sus negocios, para seguir invirtiendo en sus negocios. Entonces, si usted está interesado en saber algo más de esa información, vamos a hablar de eso con él ahora. Entonces, les presento al señor Michael Barrera.
Hey,
Thank you for being here,
Carlos.
sir.
Glad to be here. Thank
Do
you
you
so much.
understand the whole thing?
I understood kind of what you said.
Great.
About the small business administration.
Yes,
So, I think
yeah.
you talked about, well, we're here for people to start their business
Yeah.
or grow your existing business.
Correct.
And we want you to be successful.
Yeah. And I was making sure that they understand the importance and how fortunate we are to have you, a Latino, in the community, the person that is the director at SBA in our local community.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's been a great, I'm so excited to be back in Kansas City. Because I first started, this is my third time with the SBA.
Okay, fantastic.
And sometimes I feel like Michael Corleone, these keep bringing me back.
Uh-huh.
But the first time I was with the SBA, I started back in 2001. My second day with the SBA, I was in DC, and my second day was 9/11. So we just went through a tragedy with the pandemic.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time it's happened with small businesses. So I went through that era for a while. With the SBA, like for 4 or 5 years. Left to become with the president of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and that was still in DC. Did that for 3 or 4 years, then left to Denver, joined another nonprofit. We started anew, and then we had the economic meltdown of 2008. Small businesses went through that. I ended up coming back to Kansas City, practiced law for a while, and then I went back to the SBA back when they had the hurricanes in Texas and Florida, and that hurt small businesses. Did that for a little over a year, came back to practice law again, then came back about 2000. Lucky me, I came back during the pandemic.
Again,
So
another.
it's not my fault that these things happen. I just happen to happen.
But maybe
when I came
it's
back.
a thing that you ended up in that position every time that is absolutely needed because you experience the 2001 9/11. That was a bad situation. I remember very well when that happened, and we were very scared. People, business were scared. Fuel prices went up to the roof. Almost, I think it was $4 a gallon. Some areas.
And back then, that's a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. I was in the car business, so I know very well how that was. And then things got a little bit normal, and then 2008, 2010. You say, once again, that was a scary situation for the economy,
collapse.
the banking, the housing, and everything went bad. Big company that I used to work with bankrupt, and so there's a lot of stuff. SBA. So you have all the experiences that is required for today's environment.
Well, what all this shows more than anything else is how important resiliency is.
Yes.
We can talk about it, but it's something inside you that's resilient. That small business keep coming back. And one thing we found out about all this, Carlos, is that as small business goes, the economy goes.
Yeah.
As small business, they lose confidence and they don't know what's going to happen. Each one of these tragedies, initially small businesses were afraid. The economy did not do well. But when small businesses start coming back, the economy starts rebounding. We're starting to see some of that now. And I think you've been experiencing that.
Absolutely. I've been in business for many years, working in an environment that requires cash flow. and it's a struggle, and for some people it's very difficult. For me as a business mentor, I listen to everything, and that is the main reason why I want to make sure that you come here today and talk to us, because I go out, the community tells me what is hurting, and my intention is to always go out and find somebody that can help them. And I feel that your agency, SBA, can be a great place for our Hispanic community more than anything, because they're constantly wanting. We are the people, you know more than anybody. We are always trying to open new business. We're always trying to start something new, reinvent ourselves, but sometimes that requires money and a little bit of knowledge. But before we start to dig into that area more, I want you to tell us a little more about your roots in Kansas City, because I know you have a long way back, in Kansas City. Your family's been in Kansas City since what, early?
Well, my grandfather, on my dad's side, he actually fought in the war with Pancho Villa. And we actually they did an interview with him back in 1977, and he talked about how he was basically an orphan at 10 years old, and he was just in the streets of Mexico City, and he ended up leaving. He had a sister and a couple sisters. Never saw them again. Ended up fighting in the war. Actually, he was captured by Carranza's groups, so he was fought for them, and then Pancho Villa's group caught him, but he fought for that, but he talked about how he eventually came over the border and worked for the railroads in Texas, and that's kind of very endemic of a lot of folks here in Kansas City. Is that they work for the railroad and on the west side. In fact, the house I was born in, it actually got knocked down where 670 goes through now. And we used to have a house over there like 16th and Bellevue. And so grew up there. And on my mom's side, also have a long history. My grandfather, their family's from Chihuahua. And my grandmother's from Kentucky in that area. So we have both large families, like a lot of families back then. Father came from a family of 12, mother family of 14. And so it was a great experience working with all these different folks and very entrepreneurial.
Rich in culture.
Yes. And they all grew up on the west side. Basically back then everybody grew up like no more than 6-7 blocks from each other. So we had a lot of family that were always around.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this church in the Cesar Chavez area, right?
Guadalupe?
Well, there is the Guadalupe, but there is also the Baptist church.
Yes.
When I came to Kansas City in 1998, that church used to be called the First Mexican Baptist Church at West Side.
Right there off Summit.
Yeah, and they said that church was established in the early 1900s for the railroad Hispanics, the Mexican Hispanic people that you come to the west side, and that's where they went to church.
And the railroad was right down the street there. Then you had the road there in KCK. In fact, my mother used to tell us a story when they had the flood in '51. Is that where they lived on? They lived on the hill, right Observation Park, and they could see the flood from where they were located. So there's a lot. They've seen a lot of history in Kansas City as well. History.
And then how the community is being evolving is amazing. When I came in '98, even '98, we didn't have a big community of Hispanic-speaking people here, and about 95% being Mexican. And now it is a mix.
It's great to see that. Yeah. And I used to people used to tell us stories. One of my best friends here, she said when they first moved here, and she goes, Mike, everybody thought I was Mexican, and they were Portuguese. I mean, they had a great background. They're part Mexican, but and I think every part of the Hispanic community is so important. It's so rich in culture. I love it when we get together and get to know each other.
But then your father or somebody in your family went on to the public service, correct?
Well, my father, actually I have an uncle on my mom's side that actually became city councilman here in town, Bobby Hernandez. So he's one of the first one in politics. But my father ended one of the founders of the local and the National Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
That's what I wanted us to talk about a little bit. Yes.
And so he always believed in business, and my father always believed in education, and educating yourself, whether it be in business, educating yourself, whether it be in with academics. He also thought both were important. My father also thought about real life education. In fact, he told me the first time I went to college, I'm a proud Kansas State fan. And when I went to school, he said, Mike, you're going to go to school, and there's a couple things you need to learn. Let people learn about you, learn about them. You're going to find out you're not that much different. A lot of things they have a lot of preconceptions of what you are because they haven't met you yet, and you have preconceptions of who they are. get to know each other.
Yes.
Some people are going to change, some people you're not. Be around the people that want to be around you.
Correct.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you also said, don't let your books ruin your education. Meaning that go learn. Don't just learn the books, but learn about other things and learn about people.
Yeah.
You thought that was so important.
And it also sound like she wanted also to tell you, be humble.
Yes. You have to be. And
Yeah.
because if you're not humble, you'll be humbled.
Yeah.
So I said, try to be as humble as you can.
Great lessons. And now that we are touching into that area, one of the things that I really personally care the most is making sure that people like you share this type of experiences in life and in the American side. Because, I'm a first generation from Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
But just like me, there are thousands in Kansas City now and around the country. I came from Honduras, people from all over Central America. You know the situation with Central America. A lot of people is immigrating to the United States looking for a better life. When we get here, some of the things that are, the language.
Yes.
We don't speak the language. And second, understand the laws and understanding the rules and how to play the game.
The culture, yes.
And the culture, how to play the game, right? And some of these people come with a lot of knowledge in business from their countries, from Central America or Mexico, anywhere they come from. They come with a lot of good knowledge, and they want to be the same here. And then they find the barriers of maybe, the language is definitely number one.
Yes.
And number two is this business styles.
I mean, it's unfortunate as well that people tend to think an accent makes you dumb.
No.
It has nothing to do with that.
That makes it good.
But people here sometimes think that because you have an accent, you're not as smart. And that's just so untrue.
Yeah.
Accent has nothing to do with your brains. Accent has nothing to do with your ability to learn or what you do know. So I think it's so important that we get over that particular. And that's not just Latino. That's other cultures as well.
Yeah, it's how it's viewed and how, like your mom used to tell you, let them get to know you. And sometimes I think we have to let them get to know us through music, through food, our business styles.
Join chambers, join different groups, because you'll find out that when they said, you're not what I thought, and people say, you're not what I thought. Well, what you thought is that you thought I wasn't smart, but you find out that you're just as smart as anybody else. And you have to get out and let them get to know you, but you get to know them. You're making contacts. I know we're going to talk about funding. But there was a poll done here in Kansas City. They found that those folks that joined chambers or had a relationship with the bank, they had 30% better chance of getting a loan as opposed to those who don't join. Because you network, you get to know people.
And as you're networking, you're also learning how others are doing things very clever, how things are being done by other successful people, and you get to learn from them without costing you anything.
And exactly. And that's why I love the youth right now. We tend to, as we get older or mature, we tend to think that the youth, they don't know what they're doing. They do.
They do.
And they're smart, and they know how to interact with each other. They want to learn about each other. And I just think that's such a
They're
great
very open
concept.
as well.
Yes.
They're very open. They're very welcoming in all different races and cultures. They're looking for ways to learn from each other, comparing to the older people. Oh, this is who we are, and nobody's going to change me.
Yeah.
Be open to change. It's okay.
and I like learning about different, whether it be, you go to a different restaurant, learn about the different dishes.
Yeah.
That's what the culture is about.
Yeah.
Go learn about different things. Who would ever thought 30 years ago that tacos would be as popular as they are now? Everybody wants to get a taco.
Then the Hispanic Chamber put an article last year, I think it was, they said that Kansas City was the capital, per capita we had the most taco restaurants in Kansas City.
Well, I think the New York Times said, or Forbes said that KCK was the taco
place
capital
where
of the
taco.
world.
Yeah, per capita we had the most taco places and the most
in the Midwest. Who would
in the
ever
Midwest.
thought that?
Yeah. Now, I hope that whoever's up there listening, you can share this with the young community, because Michael Barrera, the main reason I want him to come and share with us is because the long background that he comes with, the long experience from, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, his father is one of the guys who established the Hispanic Chamber and went on to Washington, D.C. and did many things. So he had ambitions for the Hispanic community even back then. But Michael took that to heart and continued to work in that area. But as you look at your kids going to school, high school, going to college, talk about it. let them be open to learn about what it is to be in a public service and what it is to learn about being part of changes, political changes, and be part of the community so you can be part like Michael is today. He's the SBA guy. My God, it's one of the best places to be at SBA because everybody needs money. Everybody looking for opportunity to grow their business or open a new ideas. And for you to know that if you need money for your business, there is a loan that maybe it's going to go through a bank into SBA. He's the person to know.
Well, the important thing about that.
Let's talk about this. How that works.
Let's talk about that. SBA, people think SBA gives out the money. We
No.
don't give out the money.
No.
That you still have to have that relationship with the bank because the bank will make the ultimate decision whether or not to loan you money. Now, they will have a better, they may be more apt to loan you money because we're going to guarantee it.
And let me say a word in Spanish. SBA es su aval cuando usted hace un préstamo, okay?
And they guarantee with taxpayer money. So we want to be sure that we're good stewards of taxpayer money. So what happens is that the SBA will guarantee 80 to 85% of the loan. And that makes the bank more willing to give out that loan because their potential loss is lessened a lot.
Less, yes.
But there's still things that they're going to do that we still require. We want to be sure that you have the ability to pay it back, and we're going to look at that. We want to be sure that they're going to look at character, collateral, and just basic things that most banks look at. And so the money's out there, but when the thing that we found out, particularly with the last COVID all the loans that we were giving out on that one, that's one occasion where we did give out loans. The biggest issues that we found is that people did not have their paperwork in order. And I know that's frustrating. And it's what I always found is that many businesses know their business, but they don't know how to run one.
Correct.
And that's I don't mean it to be mean. And that's not just Latino, that's a lot of folks.
That is a lot of people. And
Yeah.
I tell you, as a business advisor that I've been doing for the past 3 years, and you know who I'm talking about. I enjoy listening to your passion. They have so much passion and so much desire to do the work, and they know how to do it. But then this owning a business, like you said a minute ago, is about knowing the process and understanding accounting, understanding your marketing, understanding everything that comes with it. It's not just do the labor. So if you're good at doing something specific, they hire people around you that can protect you and help you out grow that business in a healthy way. And that is the reason why I have this office now in Grandview. And the bookkeeper that I have in there, I stole that lady from a big company in Kansas
Good for
City.
you.
And the mentality with us is that we want, when you're a business owner, you come to us, we want to have you, I call it SBA ready. That if you need a loan, we can just put it in high speed to you.
And actually, we started a new series ourselves at our local office of being borrower ready. When you go to a bank, how to get ready for that loan. A lot of it is, again, having your taxes in order, having your profit and loss statements in order, and we're throwing a lot of terms out here, and having your business plan. Banks want to see that you are planning this thing out, and that you're anticipating potential bumps. There's going to be a bump in the road, like we just explained. Look at since 2001. You had 9/11, then you had the 2008 tragedy with the banks going under. Then you had the hurricanes in 2018, and now we have a pandemic. Those who are not preparing for disasters, and SBA has programs on that. We have a program disaster. We have disaster recovery programs on our website. So I always tell people, be ready for that because it's going to happen. And you don't want to think that. You think things are going to be rosy for all your life, but it's like a relationship, like any relationship. I'm not married, but I know a lot of my friends who are, and they said it gets rough every once in a while.
It goes like this.
It's just not roses and chocolate every day.
Correct.
And that's not a bad thing because you learn. And sometimes, we found this with the last pandemic, those businesses that survived were the ones that were resilient. They thought outside the box. Look at restaurants. A lot of restaurants never really thought about curbside delivery. That's become a huge thing now. We had food trucks.
It is the new normal.
It's the new normal.
Yeah.
And that's every time, it's called creative destruction. And it sounds like a bad thing, but with every tragedy, there's creative destruction. People come out of it because they thought outside the box. But those things that worked in 2001 even may not work now. So you got to think about different things and kind of plan ahead if you can.
Yeah. And always, I say, always have your books ready. If in case there is an emergency and you need money, then you can walk to the local bank, Have a good relationship with the banks. I find
Yes.
that to be an amazing thing. Have a banker anywhere that you bank at becomes know somebody inside that bank that can become your friend. It's a person that can trust you and advise you how to get ready if in case you need money for the future to grow your business. Needing money for your business is a great thing. That means you're growing and you're looking to invest and continue to grow, not get comfortable where you are today.
And that's what the great thing about, having the relationship, like everything comes in relationship. And most banks, they want you to succeed because they want to get paid back.
Yes.
And that's just business. I mean, I always ask people, we ask people now, what would it take for you to give someone $10,000? What are you going to ask? What's one of the first things you're going to ask? Am I going to get paid back? How am I going to get paid back? When am I going to get paid back?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to ask anybody. Think about someone wanting to borrow money from you. What questions are you going to ask them? And that's the same with money that you want to borrow.
Yeah.
Those are things they're going to ask.
Yeah. Is there any special programs that you guys are looking into going into the rest of the year or developing?
Well, I do know, we just got through it's kind of ended now with the COVID idle. We went through all that and we gave up millions and millions of dollars. Some we had the restaurant program that ended. I know there's Congress is looking at restarting that. We have to wait for them if they want to do that. We had the, we had the idle program, the economic injury disaster loan program. We gave up millions and millions of that. Nationwide, we gave out trillions of dollars on these type of programs put together. So those things have ended. And right now, there's like some billions left for the idle program. But that's people who've already applied and asked for reconsideration. Right now, we still have our core programs, our 7A loan program. We have a micro loan program that we help fund. We have our 504 development. In fact, we just talked to a business owner here this morning.
This
you and
morning,
I,
yeah.
And they're trying to get a 504 loan to redevelop a building.
Yeah.
So we have that program. And so in addition to that, we have our federal contracting programs. But one of the most important things we do, and this is where we first met, is that take advantage of our resource partners. We have our SCORE chapters. They're a great resource to help you get started. And you're one of our one of our SCORE volunteers.
Yeah.
We also have our small business development centers. They're very, very helpful.
Yeah.
We have our veterans business opportunity centers, our women's business centers, and these are all great resources to help people, to get you over that hump, help get you started.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need to be pushed forward.
Yeah, be a little more resourceful and research a little more. And it's okay to ask questions.
Oh, they want you to ask questions.
It's okay to reach out. It's okay to call the Hispanic Chamber. Call Carlos Vides, call myself. Heck, I have a list of people that I can recommend you so you can go to. That won't cost you any money. That's free. That's what I do for it. That's what I do the most. Surround myself with people that, like Mr. Michael Barrera, people that is in the right place. So if you need it, you can tap into it with that kind of friendships and take advantage so you can continue growing your business, because it's about growing your business. It's not about staying in the same spot or going backwards. It's about growing. And when you grow, the community grows. And everybody looks better around. It's not just about you, but it's about your community where you are today. That's the way I feel.
And I think small business is like this. Small business is really like breathing. You can't go a day without running into one.
Yeah.
Whether it's your local grocer, your local dry cleaner, get your shoes shined, go to a restaurant, you're always going to be around a small business in some respect. And that's why and support your local small business if you can. Because we want people to support us, support them as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important that we support our small businesses because communities grow. I look here, we're in the Northeast right now. Many people have never wanted to come down here, but you're starting to see growth here. I see Mexican restaurants all over the place, and I think that's a great thing.
It is changing the face, the community, with all this business that are constantly coming up, and a lot of young, new blood, fresh Latinos coming in from Mexico, Central America, opening business. And a lot of them are looking for places where they can go. And that's why I thought that having you here today was very important, because it's, we're in the first quarter of the year. We still have a lot of year left.
Yes.
And for people that is planning on open your business this year, maybe it's not next week, but if you plan it right, you may end up with the doors open this year, so you can stay strong and continue to grow.
You can't get open until you get started.
There we go. You have to plan it.
You can't go, but it's okay. Like I said, working with folks like yourselves or our resource partners or the chambers, they really want to help you. And I think working with them early, like I said, put the ego aside. I know growing up, men were the worst. men, because women are fantastic about asking questions.
Yeah.
Because they want to learn.
Yeah.
Men's egos sometimes get in the way.
Exactly. And we are shy, we are scared to ask because, well, I'm going to look weak if I ask questions like this. No, don't.
How weak do you look if you don't ask?
Yeah, exactly. How much you miss out. Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit
Okay.
because we have a big generation. I look at my kids, my daughters. Okay, I got a daughter that is turning 22, and I one that's turning 18. And just like that, I know a lot of people. I keep telling these people that it's how important it is to stay focused on learning more about getting involved in public service,
Yes.
non-for-profits. I always ask the same question to every one of you whenever I have a chance to bring somebody like you here. What is it that a young Latino needs to start thinking about to be able to get involved in something like you are right now?
Well, you know, one thing how I got involved, because I saw my father getting involved. What I loved about what he was doing at the time, I saw where we got to go. When he was involved with the chamber, we went to D.C. a couple times. I would have never got that opportunity to do that. They used to have dinners here in Kansas City, and that's back then. But I got to see people I would have never seen. So you get involved, and that's how you meet different people with different ideas that will spark you. You may meet that one person that sparks you to do something different, and whether it be in public service or anything. But I think anybody that's young nowadays, and I don't want to lecture people, but one of the most important things learn about money. I don't mean that to be greedy. Learn how money works. Because you learn you realize everything that's happening now, whether it be politics, and it all runs on money.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because you want to be financially strong. What money buys more than anything else, it doesn't buy you happiness. It buys you time. Time to go do different things.
And be able to leverage things around.
Yes.
And that's what it gives. I feel that working with all these business owners, I learned how some have so much more leverage than others. And it's not because sometimes you have a lot of money, but it's how intelligent people, how good they are to manage their money, how good they are as a business owners, and be able to put it in the right place at the right time.
Working hard and working smart.
Yeah, exactly. So our community, I feel that we need to continue to talk to them, our young Latinos at the high school level. And we need to put this under mind that we need to make a difference. We need to get involved with our system in the United States so we can then change a few things that we kept complaining about.
That's true. No, like even with getting involved, you're going to learn from someone who may know what to do.
Yeah.
And again, that's not a bad thing. I call networking is kind of the lifeblood of a lot of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because as you network, you may meet that one person who introduces you to another person, who introduces you to another person, and that's your contact that you need. No matter what subject you're trying to research, just get to know people, and you'll get to meet people that are going to help you.
Yes,
But be willing to help them too.
And also, know what you're looking for.
Yes.
Be truthful, and try not to tell things that are not true. And be truthful to yourself, be truthful to the people you're meeting with and the community. Stay in the right place for the right reasons. Well, we're coming to an end.
Okay.
Is there a message you may have for the business owners in our community?
Well, I think if you want help from Small Business Administration, sba.gov, and you'll find out all the information, whether it be contracting, our loan programs, our resource partners that want to help you. And if you're on there, you'll see a tab on that says Local Assistance. Click on that, put in your zip code, and you'll get information about whether it be local bankings that we have a relationship with, our local office. So just check out the website, and we'll be very, very helpful. And work with groups like yourself, work with your chambers. Have that thirst for learning, because you never stop. Because even if you're a successful business, even your most successful businesses, they're constantly learning and trying to learn more.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a great message. Well, I hope that you have taken some notes and put them as a priority to learn more about SBA, how SBA operates, and what do you need to get ready for, how much paperwork you need to get ready. So then if you become a person that needs a loan for your business or open a business, you can be ready. And that way you're not going to be told no. You're going to be told, give me one more piece of paper, one more proof, and we'll get you in there. Because SBA, what it is, para los hispanos, SBA es como un aval que le garantiza, le ayuda a conseguir su préstamo para que los bancos le den el dinero que usted necesita. Entonces, keep that in mind. So, I'd like to thank you very much for taking your time.
Anytime. I really enjoyed this session. Hopefully we can do many more.
I'm looking forward.
Okay, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Gracias. Thank you very much to those of you. Remember, I'm Carlos Vide with Innovative Minds here in Televida, and I'm looking forward to hopefully bring Mr. Michael Barrera again to talk to us a little more. Remember, he's the director at the local SBA, and he's it. He's the top. So we have the best here today, and we are very fortunate. So I hope that you and your friends got to watch this and share with your friends. Look him up and reach out if you need help. Reach out to me, Carlos Vides. Find me through Facebook, YouTube, you Google. I mean, can you believe it? 338,000 views per month. A little soul right here. So yes, I'm easy to find. And then I can connect you with Mr. Michael Barrera. Thank you. Have a great day. See you next time.